I think one thing I'll tell my younger self is investing. One thing I'll tell.
Oh my god, I hope you didn't hear that.
One thing I'll tell be known by Precious because of the fact.
Tell me about that.
Because of the fact, I just felt Precious was a female name. I didn't want to get bullied.
Yeah.
So there was just.
Hey you! Welcome to the Mind the Gap podcast. This show is created by immigrants for immigrants, and it's all about the career journeys that shape our lives, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. Each episode, we bring you inspiring stories from immigrants of all backgrounds, different ethnicities, ages, and career paths to share insights, resources, and advice that will help you navigate your professional career. This podcast is proudly sponsored by Verisult, CMFI-NL, and DBI.
Hey you, welcome to Mind the Gap. I have a very interesting person on the show. I want you to meet him because I already know him. So Precious, tell me about you. And welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. My name is...
Because I'm too familiar with you, I didn't even welcome you to the show.
It's all good. I always say everyone in St. John's kind of know me at this point, but my name is Precious Lucy. I nickname myself the Mayor of St. John's, not actually the Mayor of St. John's, but yeah. And who am I? I don't really know how to describe myself, but I guess I just say I do a lot of different things. Anything that has to do with community, I share with the Black community because I love my community. So anything that has to do with that, I try to be there as much as possible, really.
That's nice. You're a jack of all trades.
You see,
and master of all, right?
See, that's the thing. I'm a jack of all trades. I'm trying to master some things here and there because at first I used to be a jack of all trades. I realized I was not master of much, right?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to be a master of all, not just be everywhere, trying to have that specialization of what I'm in. But for me, one thing that is really important to me is community, entrepreneurship, and people surrounding you, right? So there's 3 C's I say are fundamental to me.
Yeah.
Corporate, community, creative. Those 3 parts are what defines me. Yeah.
Nice to meet you again.
Thank you.
So Precious, you've been in Canada for a while, right?
For too long.
For too long. I think that's why you're called the mayor of St. John's, right?
At this point,
so tell me about that. Like, how do you, what is the story?
I
know it's a very long story, but I'm sure you're going to make it very, quick as well.
I'll try. I like to talk a lot, but I'll try and make it quick. So before moving to St. John's, we're actually based in London, UK. And I remember coming home from school one day and my mom was like, we're moving to Canada. And I was in high school when I moved and we're moving to Newfoundland and I had no idea where Newfoundland was. So moving to Newfoundland, my mom, she was doing her master's in education and she got a job with the Faculty of Education there as well. So eventually we ended up here in Newfoundland. I remember my second or third day here, we literally had dark night, which was a blackout. There was no power. It was crazy because again, coming from London, which is a very populated city, to Newfoundland, it was so different.
Yeah.
And so once I was literally in my room and I saw them literally take the light, and it reminded me of back home in Nigeria where they used to take electricity.
God, yeah, when the lights just go off. But you always think that wouldn't happen here.
Exactly, right? But that was my very first introduction to Newfoundland. And I guess I've been counting close to 15 years now. I've called it home. Yeah. And from high school to university, it honestly I've seen it change so much from a perspective of a young Black man. I would say the truth. Because one of the things living in Nigeria at a young age, I really struggled a lot with what it meant to be Nigerian outside of Nigeria. Actually not understanding what that foreign concept. I remember the first time moving abroad, the foreign concept of being the minority, right?
Yeah.
When you grew up in Nigeria, you never really didn't know what being
because you're around your people, right? So
right?
why would you be concerned about what people thought of you in terms of your skin color?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So moving to all different places, I understood more and more what the concept of minority mean. But one thing I really grasped in Newfoundland was the importance of my culture, what the importance of being Black, my Black identity. Because a lot of times I really found myself trying to fit in all these spaces and be conforming without holding space for myself.
Yeah.
But one thing that really strengthened when I moved here, for example, when I was living in the UK, for example, I didn't want to be known by Precious because of the fact.
Tell me about that.
Because of the fact, I just felt Precious was a female name. I didn't want to get bullied.
Yeah.
So there was just all those internal
identity, right?
identity, exactly, all those internal battles. So, but one thing that I really discovered in Newfoundland was my identity, actually with my culture. Like, I would genuinely tell you, I did not speak Pidgin until I got to university. Like, I did not speak Pidgin until I got to university. And university was where I met a lot of like Nigerian people and got involved with the Nigerian Student Association, and actually made a lot of Nigerian friends and started trying to learn a lot more about my culture, because I left Nigeria at the age of 7.
Yeah.
Right. So that love for my culture was still there, but it was like a lot of it also was like, I'm Nigerian, but what does that really mean?
Yeah, what does that really mean to you in the different spaces that you find? Exactly. And I think most immigrants actually find themselves like experiencing the difference of you because of where you are, and it is more highlighted and more pronounced. Yeah. But I like that you took me to the university, because I found it very interesting. How did you transition from engineering to business? Because most immigrants like to play it safe when it comes to like career. And most people choose courses they think they can end up doing as a career. Yeah. Right? So how do you just decide to transition from engineering into business? Walk us through that.
To be honest, I actually had interest in doing business since my first year. But
so what happened? Why engineering? Like,
hey, everybody was going for engineering, and that's where we thought where the money was, right? I won't lie to you, right? So leaving from high school, all my friends were doing engineering, and it was just like, oh, that's where. And by encouragement, no fault to my parents, because again, they want the best for their child, right? So they're like, oh yeah, you should study engineering, and everyone around me was like, engineering, that's where the money is. And the thing about university is, a lot of people don't. Although you can be smart, but you have different strengths. I think that was one thing that going into university, I realized that my strength was not this. Yeah. Because coming out of high school was so chill for me, because I've been in different education system that I was actually ahead of the education system in Canada. So for me, until our final exam, I didn't really learn anything, right? So I would basically spend most of high school just relaxing and maybe skipping a bit of classes here and there. Mom, don't watch this, I beg you.
Mom, watch this.
Mom, watch this. But yeah, so for me, it was such a big transition in going from high school to university. And I really fell into that hole of trying to navigate, because I wanted to study engineering, because for me, I thought that's what would make me successful.
Yeah, that was the ideal career path for you.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you might want to just choose what works and what other people have done, so that you can become the next Bill Gates, right?
Exactly. But truth be told, I struggled a lot, because it wasn't something I actually had passion for. I would literally, and this is not a good thing, please do not do this, I would literally go to school and sit in the university center and skip my classes, because I had no drive to go to that class.
Oh my, it was that bad.
I was not enjoying it. Like, I would enjoy just sitting in the university and talking to people, and just, again, community, because I guess that's always been me.
What systems helped you transition finally into business? Because I think about it, and now the connection makes a lot of sense, because you're doing so much in the business space. So what made you take that bold step, and what systems did you have to support your decision?
Yeah, so I think one thing for me that actually, I'll say that it was a mixture of being forced to take it, in a sense, because I was going into my second year of engineering. I was going towards process engineering, but I was really finding a lot of challenge. And what happened was, actually one semester, my grade was so low that I got an academic suspension. So the academic suspension is when you're suspended for 2 semesters because your grades are really low. So I actually was able to, glory be to God, I was able to now reach out to the professors and kind of speak to them that this was my challenges that's happened.
So you asked for help. Asked
for help. And I'm still struggling with that, actually. And it's something I personally am working on. But asking for help was one of the biggest things that helped me transition, because at that time I was really struggling, because I had that 2-semester suspension. I was still an international student, although I'd been in Canada for so long. I was still an international student trying to maintain my status, and that didn't help me maintain my status. So I just explained that, this is my immigration status going on right now. I just need help for you. You don't even need to help me pass the course. Just increase my mark by this little bit for me to meet the average to stay in school. And so a lot of them agreed, except for one, which I eventually had to go to the Dean of Engineering, and he understood the situation and helped me. So from then, having that, I was like, you know what, I'm going to finally pursue what I wanted to do, which was business. And in going to that business, I was able to now find, for me, I wanted to experience so many things in university. And that's what, for me, really made my university experience unique, because I wanted to be involved in this club of society.
The university experience is very unique, right? Because you get to form lifelong connections.
You really do.
It's also very important for your career, right?
Yeah. Even, funny enough, my manager right now, we actually met at university.
Oh.
Yeah, right? So
that's so interesting. At work, right?
At work, where I work. So we met in university, and that's how we developed a connection. So even going into this role, we had previous conversation of this is what I'm looking for. It's like, oh, I have a role on my team.
So guys, when they always talk about networking, it's
yeah.
always within the people around you, your community. Your classmate can be your next,
exactly,
whoever manager, right? Or he can even connect you to your next job.
One thing I've found in my life is definitely different connections that really helped open the door, and that's why it's always good to form community, right?
Yeah.
So switching to business, it was for me, it was being able to now have free time to kind of do a lot of other things that I enjoyed while also doing my courses in business, which really brought me to the community and being involved in the community space. And I tell students that no matter how bad you think your grades are, whatever, you can still always bounce back. Because with that, I was able to finish with the convocation award and a scholarship as well.
Oh,
and this is
from someone who was like
basically
struggling.
basically kicked out of university.
Kicked out because you were on suspension and now you got a scholarship.
Yeah, right. So it's always easy to turn things around, but you need to find that passion, and you need to be saying to yourself, find that passion of what you want to do. And I always give, like, when I talk to young students coming in, they come in doing like 5 courses, not really sure what they're doing. I say, take it slow, find what you're really interested in, find something that you know will be your driving factor.
Yeah, really. That's actually nice. Take it slow.
Take it slow.
It all makes sense in the end.
Yeah, it really does. It really does.
The bigger picture looks beautiful, but when you're in it, you actually do not see it.
it is sometimes it's gross, just like the wet snow.
Yeah,
just like the wet snow.
No one likes snow.
Yeah,
but and I know you've dabbled in entrepreneurship. I know a lot of immigrants like to play it safe.
Yeah.
Beyond even doing school, when it comes to like finding jobs, most of them end up doing like the care jobs because
it's attainable.
It's attainable. Exactly. That's the word. It's attainable. And I see that, of course, you've been here for a while and you started out with engineering, you dabbled into business and completed with a business degree, but you also dabbled into entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Like, tell us about that, because many people want to be employed, but you actually were creating opportunities for people to be employed. I want to know about that.
The thing about business is that you really have to find your niche. You have to find something that, although you get this business degree, what do you do with the business? You have to find something that you want to do, right?
Yeah.
And I always knew I wanted to do something that had to do with business and community. Right. So I was looking for that intersection. And funny enough, just before I graduated, I had an internship in commercial banking, Scotiabank. Which was really got me to that business world where it meant to be working in a corporate organization, where I meant to be working with like big commercial accounts. I was working on a portfolio of 2.5 million to 5 million.
Whoa, that's a lot of money.
I was seeing a lot of deals, and I was like, okay. I was writing up, so I was doing a lot of credit analysis on those.
Yeah.
Then I moved to a smaller portfolio so I can take a lot more clients.
Okay.
And then from that one, I was doing 500,000 to 2 million.
Wow.
And so with that, I was able to like get that corporate experience that I needed to understand this is how these businesses are being successful. This is what they're doing right. So getting that experience again, with that, I was able to connect to my manager who offered me, this is the funny thing, my first full-time job was literally offered to me over Facebook Messenger. A Facebook
Guys,
Messenger
did you hear that? Facebook Messenger
call.
Who actually uses Facebook for jobs? Like,
I did, because I had such a good net relationship with my manager at that time that there was a position opening in the team that the intern in, and she called me and said, do I want the job? And I said, yes.
See the importance of like networks. I can't overemphasize the power of network. Because even for you sitting here, I met you at an event on campus.
Exactly. It's all about networking.
It's all about network. Like, you just need to form that relationship.
Yeah.
So many people come here and it's hard to make new friends in new spaces. But once you have the mindset that you want to meet new people, you want to learn new things, you want new experiences as an immigrant, you always meet people who are interested in you. And it's also about building relationships, right?
And these people are the people that will help you mind that gap, Yeah. Because they're the ones that will, like, even if you're trying to fall into those cracks. Back to the original conversation where we're talking about business. So that experience itself, and interest, the same manager, who was
Thank you, manager.
Thank you. Oh, she actually become a friend now.
Yeah. She really helped you mind the gap.
She really helped me mind the gap because she pointed me in this new direction of when I started working with entrepreneurs.
I think you guys need to think about this question. Who is helping you mind the gap in your current space?
Yes, that is so true. That really is true because this person was such a big help to me. She saw a post. This is my manager, right? She saw a job that I thought was perfect.
Thank you, manager, again.
Really sent it to me and said, oh, I think you should apply for this. And it's funny because I was looking at the same organization a few months ago. I noticed they didn't have any job available at that time, but she didn't know that, right? So she had seen that, sent that over to me. So this role was where I got to work with a lot of Black-owned businesses and people wanting to start their business. So that really got me into the entrepreneurship side. So coming from that corporate commercial business, I could now use that experience to build businesses up and say, okay, this is what I've seen businesses doing right.
We're actually connecting it to the 3 C's. So you go from corporate to community.
Yeah, exactly. I worked with a lot of Black-owned business and community in my role with Black Business Initiative, building Black businesses. But one thing we're able to do, we're able to give grants to all these business owners to at least alleviate some of that financial pressure.
Yeah, because the financial pressure is like...
It's a lot, right?
That's why many of them end up like settling, right?
Yeah,
because
exactly.
they need to get attainable jobs so that they can just stay afloat.
Exactly. And also their immigration status too. And that's one of the work we did actually was that we made sure that there was no barrier to access any of the funding we were supplying.
Yeah.
So in terms of making sure that our funding was accessible by all. So it didn't matter if you were international students, it didn't matter if you were on a work permit, as long as you were Black.
Yeah.
You could literally build, like, we would support you and there was no criteria.
I think that is like some of the barriers people face in accessing funds.
Yeah, exactly.
It's either you're a PR holder or you're a citizen. Like, so what happens to those immigrants like us who have beautiful ideas, no access to capital, and yet we want to start something?
You know what, the interesting about that, before a couple of years ago in Newfoundland, before you could register your business, you had to have like one person PR on your board of directors, but now you don't need to do that because in Newfoundland, to register your business here provincially, you don't need to. You'll be on a study permit, you'll be on a work
Is there
permit.
a link we could put in the show
yeah,
notes?
definitely. If you go to CADO, it's called Companies and Deeds Online.
Yeah.
You could register. You could look at the process. It's really easy. Registering your business is only $270, and you've incorporated your business.
I think this is a resource we need to include in our show notes, and we'll definitely do that because the podcast is not just about sharing Precious's story. It's to tell you about how you can grow your career if you want to start your own business, or if you want to work for somebody. But we'll put all the resources you need to know right in the show notes.
Yeah. So, and that's how I started working with a lot of Black business. You didn't even have to have your business registered. If you just have an idea of what it is, let's meet, let's talk, let's see what supports are available for you. And that's how I started being involved in entrepreneurship. And I did that, and I found my niche. I found this is what I wanted to do.
So what's your business now?
So for me, actually, and this comes to my creative side, 3 C's.
Yeah.
So after a while of building people's business, I decided that, it's something for me, because I always wanted to be a business owner as well. So I've always wanted to find a way to channel that to kind of develop my own thing. So I've been working on it. I first started off in the photography business, which used to be called Just Focus. But we got really busy, didn't have time. So we kind of shut that down. So now we started with a new production company called F8. So a production company, we do a lot of, we do event coverage for videography. We do live stream. We do basically we're trying to build a full production now. So from even recording studio.
Oh, that's actually nice.
Yeah. So
everything creative. Production and creative work.
Exactly. So that's what we're really trying to do. And we have a lot of talented folks in the city. I see a lot of talented Black people in this city. And it's so cool when I get to discover them every day. I'm like, give me your IG. We need to plan something. We need to work on it, right?
What would you say to an immigrant who wants to start a business? I know we've talked a lot about entrepreneurship because that's where your forte is. But what would you like to say to someone who wants to start a business but doesn't know how to even start? What are the resources? What do you have to look out for? What do you need to do?
Starting a business is not easy, but it takes commitment.
Nothing is easy.
And that's the thing. Even finding a job is not easy.
That's
the truth.
Is easy. Yeah,
so it takes commitment and it takes passion as well, but it's rewarding. Right.
Commitment, passion, and is rewarding.
Yeah, literally. And a lot of times there's a lot of support that you don't know is there for you. There's a lot of different support from people around you, to your community, to government grants. It's about researching it. And obviously with business, you don't expect the fruit of your labor might not be immediately, but over time you see it. There's so many.
Yeah, that's very true.
There's so many businesses in the city. I remember working with, when I first started working with Palm's Beauty Store. Okay. She was literally, I was able to help her, and when I was working with Black entrepreneurs, transitioning her to have a commercial space. So that became one of the first few places where you can go to do your Black hair in a commercial space in a mall, right? And there's so many businesses that I remember when 1949 was just one store, and now they have about 5 barbing saloons across the province, right? So it's just being able to understand that there's time for everything now. So there's time for building up. So it's important for you to build up wow, those foundations that you need to lay around your business plan, having that done, sticking to your business plan, refining your business plan as you grow your business, and building on those foundations are really what will help you. But if your foundation is shaky,
talking about foundations, if you're a student at the university, if it's Memorial University or wherever, I know certainly that there are initiatives that help students start businesses. Immigrants, whether you're an immigrant or you're a domestic student, they help you start your own business. I think for MAN is the MAN Center of Entrepreneurship, and then the Center for Social Enterprise. All of these
and Genesis as well,
and the Genesis Center, right? Yeah, there are a lot of resources. So the goal is to expand your mindset that you're here for school, but it's also good for you to dabble into interest areas that you think are worthwhile, right? Yep. And who knows, you might be the mayor of St. John's, like we have Precious here. Oh my God, that's actually nice. Like it's very rewarding.
Oh yeah, that's true. What's the time now?
What do you think are some of the gaps immigrants face when they're trying to enter into entrepreneurship space?
I think one of the biggest challenge is understand there's so many different informations out there, and trying to navigate all that, trying to find the right information. I think that's one of the biggest challenges immigrants. They don't know exactly where to find the right information.
It's all scattered.
It's all scattered, right? So it can be really frustrating when you're trying to go in different places. Another thing that we try to break down is we should not be gatekeeping, but sadly we see gatekeeping in our community.
Quite unfortunately. Why gatekeeping?
Yeah, exactly right. And when you help each other, it really benefits all of us. But one thing that we see a lot is gatekeeping and gatekeeping resources. And that's not how it should be. And lastly, I think one of the biggest challenges is your immigration status. Because a lot of people, immigration status determines you staying in the country, right? So sometimes it puts a pen on your entrepreneurship idea, because you have to find out which immigration pathway you're using. You have to get that work experience. So that and financial obligations are a few of the challenges that immigrants face. But how do we overcome that? Building, right? Even when you're at your 9 to 5, keep building your business. Keep building your business. Lay the foundation. Keep working on it, so that time when you eventually have the right time to blossom comes, you know that your seed has been planted and you've been watering it.
Yeah, right? That's the most important. So talking about the scattered information, what do you think is the ideal place to look up business related stuff? Yeah,
so one of the key things a lot of people don't know that actually City of St. John's, if you're based here in Newfoundland, and check different cities as well. I think this is the same that applies to cities across Canada, but they have a business center where you can actually ask them any questions regarding permits, what you need, and they will direct you to different folks from government and who to talk to about what you need. To have someone that is dedicated to help you with your business. If you have questions, go to them and they'll direct you where to go. And this is in different cities across Canada as well. So they have a dedicated person. There's also your local CBDC, so your local business development agency. They actually have resources as well. And they have a lot of resources built up to help you and direct you.
So we do this thing on the podcast where we ask 3 questions. We call it the rapid 3. And I would like to ask you these questions. On the top of your head, just answer what comes to mind. What's the worst advice you've had?
Worst advice I've had, give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Yeah. What's the best advice you've had?
The best advice I had is be patient. Don't rush the process.
Yeah. Don't rush the process. Everything comes together, right?
Everything comes together.
Nice. And if you were to go back to your younger self, what is that one thing you tell your younger self? What would you tell your younger self?
I think one thing I'll tell my younger self is invest in Bitcoin. I'm joking. One thing I'll tell.
Oh my God, I hope you didn't hear that.
One thing I'll tell my younger self is give yourself credit and recognize that growing is a phase. Growing is a phase, so it comes with different phases. But to enjoy the moment right now and be in no rush.
I'm sure your younger self will be so proud of you. Mayor of St. John's. But it was nice having you on the show.
It was really nice being here. Thank you so much.
I really enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you. I really appreciate it as well.
Okay, so this is the end of our episode. See you at our next one. Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Mind the Gap. I hope you had a great time with us. All the resources from this episode will be linked in the show notes. And please follow us on all our social media handles. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this episode with someone who needs it. Until next time, bye!